Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Got Sigimar and Wingspan up again for today. Trying out a no-build version of the deck that we thought about recently. Or maybe in the one subscriber special. That actually might have been. It's been a while since we played him. Apart from the 12 subscriber special as well. It was going to be my special deck, but I wanted to try this one out a little bit sooner rather than later. Sorry for the late upload. I was going to produce this one, and then Whispers from the Maze came out, and I thought about delaying it to find some space for cards from that set into the deck. But I thought, forget it, we'll just keep going. Effort we ball. So, couple of changes. Obviously, no orders, carriers, monoliths either. We've replaced those with some hypothermias and rallying calls. Swapped out the foundry mechanics for orders troopers here as well, and we found a bit of space from somewhere else for these couple copies of Sandmans and some more gatekeepers as well. So we're just producing as many tokens as we can, seeing what we do and how it goes. I'm not sure that the loss of inevitability from the landmarks, if you can get them up and running and preserve them, is worth what we've got here. So it's maybe, I suppose, considered a little bit more of an aggro list. We've gone down one charge, so we've got two copies of that and this copy of Orders Trooper as well. So that's three versions of boost. And that's about it. The Gift of Self worked really well in the last video. We've got that one. Let's just crack on. We'll see how it goes. I'm not too hopeful for this one. I think it probably needs a lot more tweaking, or either numbers, or there's probably some cards that I'm missing that would be good in it. If you've got any recommendations, let me know. But we'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed. I'll see you in a little bit. Alrighty, here we are, game one with our Bleenies no build mode. So just gone over it in the deck tech. Hopefully the deck makes a lot of sense. Let's see how it goes. If we really feel the inevitability loss of the permanence and all that, dealing with a little bit of lag here. Not sure what's going on there. Might hit F5. Alright, seems to have fixed it, so let's see what our opening hand looks like here. We've got Orders Cadets and an Ozma to be able to play turn 1 if we want, the Sandman. We could try and sleep it turn 1 to get a strong creature out for turn 2. I like Gift of Self as well, so let's get rid of the Ozma. It's a bit early for charge, and we've got 4 copies of that effect in the deck as well. Sardian Surge. Probably not playing anything too big now. So we're going to see some ramp out of them. So I think we're going to run it like this. We've got the Sandman, we've got the Orders Cadets. We'll see what our opponent wants to do. Mana channeling. So they're going for really big stuff. So the Sandman is going to be a lot better later on. I think we'll try and play the Cadets turn 1 just to see if we can get a double advance out of them. Hopefully they pass. If they don't, might see a tiny Djinn or something like that. And see what they want to get done. They pass, we get a double. Pretty happy with that turn 1. Let's see how we go. See if we can press our advantage. We also have a decent turn 2 here with Gift of Self plus Orders Cadets. It's a Mage Dancer and an Orders Trooper, that's an alternative. But we do have to get rid of something here. Like I said, the Sandman is going to be pretty good value. We do have hypothermias in the deck as well though, so we try and play towards that. think it's the worst card in our hand for the time being. Going to be behind on mana. Obviously our opponent is ramping quite well. I think what we want to do is we'll try and pressure just one side, see if we can get something out of our opponent. Mighty Djinn with the 0 on the blues, disappointing. We can't abuse that. But what we can do is get rid of one of our recruits, draw 2 cards. Alright, Ozma and Gift of Self. So drew into not much further action. The second Gift of Self might be good later down the track. Our opponent will pass, and so shall we. Our opponent has a choice here. Now, obviously, the Companion Expedition is very good for the stats that they have in the Mighty Djinn, but they may choose to put it into mana as well. Okay, so they ramp with that one, double ramp there. That's very strong. I'm actually very concerned about this. We'll get rid of the second copy of Ozma and see if we can effect something. Now, hypothermia with Sigimar specifically, there is no way for you to be able to sleep nothing. But I think what we'll do is we'll try and stop our opponent from ramping a little bit. We've only got one target each, so it'll choose those automatically. Scholar's Vault, let's read this one. Play hand costs of 7 or less for 1 less. So this is a new card from Whispers of the Maze. So these are actually available now. Haven't updated the deck with these just yet, but that'll be one of the plans after this video. Alright, what do we want to get done here? We can't trigger Ozma this turn. So what I think we'll do is we'll play our Alchemist, create 2 tokens on one side, discard Ozma, make an extra token and see what they want to do with it there. They've got 3 mana. What do they choose to do is the question. They pass. Alright, we're happy with that. Get another cheeky double advance. We'll see if we can limp over the line here. Our opponent is very far ahead on mana. Love to see it. It's a cool deck so far. I think what we'll do is we'll send the Hypothermia. We're probably not playing that for 3. Teamwork Training, Sticky Note Seal is going to be good here. So I think we'll get rid of one of our removal spells and we'll keep the Sticky Note Seal, expecting our opponent to play something huge this turn. One, two, three, four, five, six. We can afford to play the Alchemist on the hero side. 6 power, but obviously they've got 9 mana. Do they choose to drop something significantly fat? Sakurabu. So we did actually fade the Eat Me energy bars. Sends us back 1. Play an Orders Trooper out. That should be ringing alarm bells in our opponent's head. We'll see if they choose to shore up that expedition. They pass. So we sticky note seal. Target the Sakurabru. We'll pass our turn and double advance. No, we never moved forward the last round. Disappointing. Not sure why we did that. I thought we'd moved forward. Alright, that's a bleed. Gonna have to deal with that. I am not paying attention. It's quite late at night. My apologies. Alright, our hand is looking pretty shonky. And I don't expect we'll see much play. Our opponent's going to have to know we're desperate. If we play the Gift of Self here, sacrificing our token. Alright, we did see some action. Let's see what our opponent chooses to do. Is it another Sakurabru? No. I think we'll play the cadets here, if they are heads up enough to sabotage something. Reasonable. Play the Orders Trooper. Snowman, so they could block it, which is disappointing. Now we can choose to Ozma here, but we won't be having to put anything in reserve. So what we're going to do is we're just going to sack the token, give up the double advance. See what we can get done here. Alright, we're technically even now, so our opponent's played well to claw it back. Obviously they've ramped out of control, well ahead of us. We've got a charge here. We've got everything we want in hand, so we're actually going to send the Rune Scribe here. And we've not mathed out our turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can get quite a few bodies on board. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get enough to win, considering our opponent has 4 more mana than us. But we'll get some bodies on board anyway. We'll play the Gatekeeper. We've got 3 mana left over, so we're likely looking to play the Trooper and a charge, see if we can win there. Do have to figure out where we're going to drop this charge. So hopefully our opponent plays something big and gives us the clear runway. Snowman, that is good stats. If our opponent plays anything else, we're probably a bit out of luck here, but that's alright. We'll play our charge. We can't stop our opponent from moving, but we take a 2-1 lead. Another Sakurabru evens it up for us.
I don't believe there was a way to get one more token on this side. Discard the Ozma. Hope we see another charge off of the top of our deck. Order Spy, Paper Herald. They get to go first, so they're probably going to play their Eros here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Putting the Paper Herald into reserve does not much. So I think we'll pass. If they don't play the Eros first, they do so. Mighty Djinn, which blocks us. Big shame. So our opponent may have us here. I don't think we can stop them from advancing if they play anything else from hand, which they presumably will. Reasonable from them. Yeah, we can't stop them from advancing, I don't believe. Oh, we can. Okay. We do have to choose to do this. So that, if they have a 2 drop in hand. No, we're one power short on the brown side. So perhaps the Paper Herald the previous turn would have been better here than the Orders Trooper. Ah well, that's okay. Our opponent played well. We will concede the game. This is good information. Alrighty, here we are, game 2 with our no build. Let's see how we go. Lost the first one. Just couldn't quite get over the line in someone else. And we've got a mirror matchup and we're playing first. Alright. Rallying Call might be good here. Sticky Notes can get rid of Monolith. We know we're not playing. Got 3 1-drops here. So we get rid of 2 of those, or do we keep the Rallying Call? I don't feel good about this hand. I don't know if there's any iteration at all that I think I would enjoy. Alright, we'll try it like this. We'll keep 2 creatures around. The Paper Herald might be good from reserve later on. See if we can sneak a win as well. Unfortunately, Sticky Notes does not hit the Orders Carrier, so if they drop one of those, we're kind of just stuck with it on the field. Play a Trooper on this side. Now we've got the option of playing Gift of Self or the Paper Herald if they drop a 3-drop. Guess we'll see what our opponent wants to do first up. Guess we'll just concede this side with our Orders Recruit, draw 2 cards. Rallying Call might be good if they're playing a Hypothermia build. We'll pass the turn. Alright, our opponent's going first. We've got two Ordis Gatekeepers, which are going to be good value with that charge at some point. But I think we're going to have to get rid of one of those guys. I'm wondering if it might have been a good play to just put the Paper Herald out as well. Seem to have a very hefty decision to make with what they send to mana. A bit of an awkward hand, hopefully. Alright. Okay. I think we'll be in the second Gatekeeper, as good as that might be right now. Two. We'll play the Trooper on this side, negate what they did with the Recruit, see what they want to do with their remaining mana. Alright, they pass, so we can't stop them from advancing here. So I think what we'll do is we'll rally and call our Paper Herald. This puts both of those in reserve. We've got the rally and call for next turn as well, but we'll give up an advance to get a double and even everything up. Paper Herald on the Rune Scribe. The Paper Heralds would be good on the companion side. We do like that, but what does our turn look like? Sorry. We could play a Paper Herald, a Rune Scribe and a charge. A Gatekeeper, a Paper Herald and a Rallying Call. We would have to get rid of the Gatekeeper to keep everything in hand. I think we'll get rid of the Herald that we have in hand. We've got access to it if we need, but we can also create a token. It's probably going to do that. Look at the Rune Scribe, the token. Try and see what we can get done. I think we'll play the Rune Scribe on this side. It functionally doesn't matter, but it does avoid the challenge of another common Gatekeeper, if that is the case. Bit of a bleed there. We could have chosen to play our token out and avoid that. Then they would have had to get rid of one of our rallying calls, and we'd have access to the second one. Okay, our opponent charges. If we match it here, we just end up advancing ahead. I think that is the best choice here. Negates both sides for our opponent. And we continue to move on with the rune scribe, so we take a 1 expedition advantage. Lucky we had that in hand. We'll pass the turn here, taking our small lead. Had we played the recruit out with the paper herald on our hero expedition, we would have taken a 2-1 there. Has made our hand a little bit awkward with a bevy of 3 drops though. Okay, have to get rid of one of the gatekeepers here. I believe that's the second. It's actually gone into the mana zone, so we've only got this one left. We'll see what we can get done with it. We've got a couple of options here. We could just play the gatekeeper and Kuwat from hand. That would make for a very awkward turn, because then we have 4 cards in reserve. So I think the better option we have would be to aim towards playing Kuwat, Rune Scribe, and then rallying calling something. Unfortunately, playing the token generator here does open us up to teamwork training, which will likely result in a complete loss for this turn, putting us behind. Sticky note seal. Not entirely sure what the point of that was. Kind of want to ask our opponent if they're okay. We can freely rally and call our recruit here. We can simply pass the turn. Take a double advance here. It's a bit rough for our opponent. Wish they hadn't done it. They could have played out the Order Spy made 2 tokens here and forced us to generate something else as well. Alright, I think we keep the charge here. Got 7 mana, which means Kuat plus Gatekeeper, which is not a good play. Be Runescribe, Gatekeeper and charge. That might be enough to end the game. Our opponent does have a lot of tokens in their reserve as well though, so if they have a charge in hand to match, it will be good for them. Now, playing the cadets against our Runescribe is potentially advantageous for us, seeing as it has the 0 in blue. So they get the full stats out of it, and they actually do go ahead with the 2 power in green. What do we choose to do? I suppose this is a make 'em have it kind of situation. If they have the charge to match ours, that's cool for them. They play a Runescribe. Alright, so they have enough mana in play to see what they need to get done. So they can add 1, 2, 3, 4 mana to the companion side if they load everything in there. Is that correct? No, this is a common Order Spy. Sorry, I just assumed it was a rare. That's only 3 mana. So what I believe we'll do is we'll click charge, and if they play the Orders Trooper plus if the last card in their hand is charge, we still win. Functional concession from our opponent by playing on that side. There we go, they'll advance, we'll advance. Everything goes away. Not sure why they made that change, but GG's. There we go. Alright, on to game 3. And we're back. Game 3 with our no build. That's fine. You know, pretty up and down. Unfortunately for our opponent, there was a bit of a blunder in there. Broke the game open. Might have been a shame concede without actually hitting concede there. We'll see how this game goes though. Can't be too mad about that. Well, I mean, I guess you can if your opponent feel like a bit of a fool. That's alright though. It's all part of the learning process. I have done that multiple times. Or I've had to teamwork training one of my own creatures. Or off you go. You know, they can hit your own creatures. Not sure why you'd want to, but sometimes you just misplay. And we're up against a Sierra and Oddball. Mirror matchups are always a bit weird like that. Alright, so then we're playing a lot of permanents. So teamwork training is actually playable from whenever they make a brass bug token. I actually like Cadets and Ozma here as a turn 2 play as well. So we could keep Runescribe, Ozma, Cadets, or 2, 3. Control token, resupply. We're really going to need to get to a sticky note seal somewhere here. Okay, so we need that for the brass bug hive. Order spy is probably a bit of a luxury at the moment. Paper herald will be good turn 1, except they're going to make a brass bug token somewhere, which is a 2/2/2. So I think what we do, we keep the rune scribe for the stats. We could play Ozma turn 1. Ozma and rune scribe both beat a brass bug token against our recruit token, but lose if they play it on the other side. So we would need a rune scribe plus paper herald in order to win that side. I think that's such an early game play though, that we're actually giving up noticeable card advantage in the resupply with the Ozma. Alright. We're gonna probably make a mistake here. Pass. Oh, that would have been good. We played on the other side. Oh, that's rough. Alright, not much we can do about that. We're expecting a permanent out of opponent turn 1. They did not oblige. Alright, so we probably took the wrong hand there. Cadets plus Ozma would be 2 resupplies. Would have been better early on. It's going to cost them a 3 from reserve next turn. We've got a gatekeeper, which is nice. Ozma, there you go. So we did recoup that one. Teamwork training will be good late game versus even a brass bug hive. If they have the boosted brass bug tokens, it can take 3 power off the board, if not more. But I do like having creatures in hand. We need the cadets to trigger Ozma. We need the gatekeeper for more creatures down the track as well. 4 mana, so we could play Rune Scribe Cadets. That puts Cadets into reserve, where it can be played with Ozma next turn, plus the Rallying Call. So we've mapped out a couple of turns ahead here, which is nice, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Our opponent is obviously going to get to be playing cards as well. You know, it's nice to have everything mapped out, but it's obviously always dependent on what your opponent does. At least we get to determine what their plan is first off. We could also, as an option, play Gatekeeper plus Rallying Call as the Icebound Hollow. That ain't too bad. Alright, so the Rallying Call Gatekeeper, we're sort of risking our opponent not having a 1-drop, although the likelihood of it being a 1/1/1 is low. I don't have all the 1-drop characters memorized out of Axiom. Alright, we've got a sticky note seal here. We're expecting a brass bug hive in the next little while is the question. Charge will be good as well. We've got a lot of token generators here. So we could put 4 mana on each side just with a Gatekeeper plus charge. Get rid of the sticky notes. We could give up on Ozma as well. These two. Oh, I can't do it. Alright. We're going to play with what we've got. If they play out the Foundry Armor, puts 4 power on one side. We'll at least trade 1 for 1. As I find it unlikely they'll be able to put 4 power onto the board with their remaining 2 mana. The Neelam. Now, what's of more value to us? Well, we can block them here with the charge. Disappointing to see that one go, but it's alright. Stops them from advancing. Turns it into a 1 for 0, and we like that. Being 2 expeditions ahead gives us a bit of breathing room when it comes to getting rid of the brass bug hive. The only thing is, doing that on the turn they drop it means they'll be able to keep both of these guys. And I am happy that no tokens or no counters have gone onto the hollow so far. Another charge is good. We'll get rid of the hypothermia here because we're really playing around this sticky note seal now. Can't wait to upgrade this one with the new card from Whispers of the Maze. I forgot what it's called. Alright. Alright, our opponent's going to start looping with these activated abilities. They can't create any more mana moths. So they actually just get the resupply out of their Ouroboros if they use the Gia. This is a cool loop though. We've seen it before. I'm a pretty big fan of that. Keylon Burst or Avalanche. They can't play that this turn. We could play the cadets out here. What does that look like? Do we risk it? If they have 1 power in hand in blue, we just lose here. I don't know if we want to take that chance. We just it's a flat double loss. If they play the Gian, they can try and advance. I'll resupply again. They will get their 555. Teamwork training would have been good there. Could have held on to that. Did we put any in mana zone? We did. We put one in there. Alright, so that might be a bit of an adjustment that we make further down the track. If we come up against this sort of deck again. We did see a brass bug hive out of them as well. Don't feel like playing towards that just yet. Maybe they've got another one in hand. They pass. And charge anyway. And keeps it as a 1-for-1 trade. That's a pretty good move. We're happy with that. We also saw Keelan burst out of our opponent. Didn't keep it obviously, but something they have access to. Thankfully we're not playing any permanents because they would get rid of our Orders carriers for an equivalent trade of 3 mana. Let's see, they're going to get rid of 2 things. What would they get rid of? They might want to keep the Foundry Armor around. Avalanche, I think, is going to look good for them. Sorry. Let's see what they choose. They do get rid of the Avalanche. Can't be too upset about that. Teamwork training will be good, but they got rid of the Icebound Hollow, unfortunately. I think this is one of those times where we actually pass because we want to keep access to all the cards in our hand. We're not necessarily going to play them, but we do have the option to Order Spy plus Sticky Note Seal if we so choose, but I want to keep the Teamwork training around for their tokens. Did send a Foundry Armorer to the bin as well, so they have access to one more of those. And we're playing a very disruptive hand here, unfortunately. Okay. My opponent's taking a long time to make a decision. We'll play the Order Spy here. Discard the Foundry Armorer. Hopefully that was important to their plans. Get rid of the Gibble. How fun would it have been to sabotage that? That's alright, we'll get rid of it next turn after they get rid of one of their landmarks. So, their opponent's making a big decision here. I'm assuming they're going to drop it in the companion side, purely because that wins them an expedition. Actually, no, they can tie up. They can tie up one side and win one here. So they go, actually, because of the Sierra and oddball. That's my bad. It'd be very disrespectful to skip our opponent's turn here. So we'll give him the time. We're okay. That brass bug hive's disappearing though next turn. They are going to get a chance to make a brass bug with the hero. They get to go first. That's an interesting choice. Alright, so we've got access to 7 mana here. Could be Sticky Notes plus Alchemist. That's going to put a lot of things into reserve though. Don't think we can afford to keep the hypothermia. I think we instantly Sticky Notes the Brass Bug Hive. In case they play another permanent and get the extra boost. We've got 4 mana left, so we have to play Order Spy into Teamwork Training here. Although the Teamwork Training doesn't really achieve much for now. I suppose if they play a landmark. Okay, Avalanche is a good one. We have to pass. Could bounce their Brass Bug token, but that's not great. And we go behind. Good card from our opponent to have in hand. I'm actually highly interested in all of these cards, to be honest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 1 to go in order to play everything. The Ordis Trooper is the most easily replaceable with a number of 1-drops. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 1-drops in our mana zone. We can check our graveyard as well. There's a Rallying Call. in a bit of a funny spot here because in order to maximize the value on our alchemist, we would have to put something in reserve, which opens up them to activating the Neelam. So I think we're going to skip that. Make the Ordis recruit. Play the alchemist on the other side. Create 2 soldier tokens, as we always do. And we'll pass on that one. If they have another avalanche, credit to them. We are SOL. Frozen delivery. Okay, we're really going to need this Gift of Self to do some work. What cards are we looking for if we draw it? Fortunately, this one's not looking too good. They've got ways to exhaust things. I think our best bet here is the teamwork training just straight away. Sorry, just looking at the marketplace, trying to see if there's any extra cards. I will have to pass here. Did not get a 1-drop. They'll be able to exhaust and make a mana, make a token. Oh well, there you go. They had it. GG's. There you go. Alright. A disappointing end to the game, but yeah, credit to them. We've been playing some pretty good opponents here. There you go. Alright. Two losses that video. We'll move on. On to the debrief.
Alrighty there. We had a 1-2 record with our no build version. Lost 2 games. Got properly outmuscled by an Atsadian Surge deck, and outvalued by the permanents that our opponent was playing. Couldn't quite keep up in the late game. So I suppose what we were talking about in the preview came to fruition. We didn't have that inevitability. The monoliths, I feel, as our late game win con, were very much missed, and the Ordis carriers to keep things going throughout the early to mid game as well. Didn't get to showcase the Sandmans, unfortunately. Didn't find a spot for them. Didn't draw them where we needed to, so maybe going up to 3 just to continue testing that one would be good. Hypothermias were... I could see the potential there. Didn't quite come to fruition either, but I think I mentioned it in the game. You can never get a sleep your opponent's card with a when you play the second, as you're always going to be able to sleep your token. Keeps it around for the next turn, so that's pretty interesting. See if there's any play there. And the rallying calls were quite nice. Won us a couple of rounds there. Always got the token to buff if we need it. And obviously hoping to get a few creatures on the field as alternative targets as well. I'm excited for how this deck would change over with Whispers of the Maze. There's a couple of removal spells and creatures that are quite interesting, so we'll see if we can fit some space in for those. But you're really relying on your charge effects to be able to win a double in the late game, and you don't always have the cards for it. This deck doesn't necessarily draw the most cards after Baba Yaga and Ozma have been removed in their original printings. The resupplies are good, but obviously cards to hand is better. I think I misspoke in one of the games, saying that we did have the 4 copies of charge, so we were running a bit thinner there than I thought we would, but that's okay. Didn't come back to bite us. I don't think it would have changed the math that we were doing. Obviously, not entirely guaranteed to see that extra copy, as it were, but it's probably one to bump back up to 3, considering how important it is when you're missing all of the free stats from your permanents. Gonna keep tinkering with this deck. Small announcement, we have a Worlds qualifier down in Melbourne that we're going to be able to try and go to. Very excited for that one. Be able to play a bit of paper altered as well. So testing for this deck and some others is probably coming up in the following weeks. Super keen for that. It'll be nice. Probably be trying to jump into the ranked ladder instead of the casual ladder. Compete against the best decks, the ones we are much more likely to see, rather than the high variance of the casual ladder, people playing janky stuff, much like ourselves. So we'll look forward to that one. A little bit of a competitive buzz getting around the game at the moment. For me, at least, very happy to see that happen. For this deck, the Orders Troopers are always good. Free stats is good. Don't know if the Gatekeeper needs to be at that in that rare slot. Bumping it down to common gives us options to play a bit more, and I think the Sandmans, as good as they are, I really wanted to see them interact with Rallying Call, just to see how that goes. Not a lot of things that we want to necessarily keep around in this list. The Kuat, putting that to sleep and then still getting your tokens when you play other things is very exciting. So maybe if we can manage to find them some more token producers. You notice that we've played it before, but the Monolith Rune Scrub we actually moved that one on, as a way to get some money for print on demand to prepare for this tournament we've got going on. So, excited to see that come to fruition, but, a sacrifice had to be made. The Alchemist is always good. The Trooper is the flex slot unique that we've got. So we'll see if we can maybe improve that one. If you've got any suggestions for effects that I'm looking for, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll see what I can do. I know what I would like to see. It's those token producers that sort of overlap with the Sandman. So if we can sleep them as they come in, that would be very exciting to have around. Sort of do a Wairo at home sort of impression. But yeah, not necessarily the best deck, but I'm happy I tried it. We'll see what we can get going with it too. So, prepare for that. We'll probably, at least until July when the tournament is on, we'll probably forego um, any of those slightly more janky or unrefined decks that we've got going on. So, expect a lot of tweaking over the next little while, about a month and a bit. Um, Thank you for watching. Very much appreciated. Sorry for the late upload once again. But yeah, happy with that one. Love your work. Please check in next time. Have a great day and your week. Bye.